Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today, man, we're going to be talking about the Amaranth situation, which I guess I'm kind of part of because, well, something pretty interesting has been happening on Twitch. I've already made a video talking about this, the, new Twitch update to the meta, right, where, all these different streamers are trying to get around the new Twitch rules, and they're trying to, basically keep up this 18-plus meta now by, basically streaming themselves fully naked and just putting, a physical censor bar over their sensitive regions and whatnot. It's actually crazy because this is the first one now that I've seen where guys are also joining in on it. There's a bunch of dudes on Twitch now who are just streaming everything but their meat, which is censored now to I guess do what the women are doing. As far as I understand, they're getting banned a lot quicker than the females are, but anyway, this video is not really about that in particular. It's more about Amaranth herself in person because once again, she joined, I guess, this whole Twitch meta, right, of people streaming themselves naked with just a physical censor on themselves and whatever, right? And it's actually pretty interesting that she chose to do this, right? Because if you've been watching the channel for a while or you've kept up with this kind of stuff for a while, right? About a year ago, a little over a year ago now, actually, Amaranth had a really weird stream, right? That seemed to come out of nowhere where she comes on stream, her and her, I guess, abusive ex-husband, whatever, right? Are getting in this massive fucking fight. They're arguing over the phone. He apparently is threatening to kill her dogs, get rid of her horses, burn up all their money, steal all her accounts, leave her homeless, all these just wild, crazy threats to try and control her because apparently, according to Amaranth, right, he was just so controlling over this whole business, right? He had control over all her finances. He was the one pushing her to do these hot tub streams where she's basically naked on cam for a bunch of teenagers on Twitch. He's making her do all this stuff for the money, right? And then now, of course, a whole year and 2 months or so later since that happened, right, she's now on Twitch, fully naked, streaming herself with censor bars, making vaginal yeast beers and whatnot in her spare time. And, a lot of people, including myself, we have a little bit of questions about this whole thing now, right? So, before we even really get into the evidence and whatnot in this whole thing, I just want to go ahead and just to really hammer home the point right off the jump here, I want to take a look at some YouTube searches about Amaranth's husband, right? This is what I looked up, Amaranth husband, and here's what came up. As you'll see, all these responses are just people basically saying, oh yeah, here's the update on her abusive relationship with her husband. Amaranth is a victim of abuse. She didn't deserve this. Amaranth's situation's terrible. She's finally back. This is after the husband is abusing her. Domestic abuse, things like that, right? And the reason I'm showing you this is because it really clarifies what the public perception of Amaranth's situation was, right? For the last year and 2 months or so, everybody's been under this, assumption because of her stream and all this stuff she showed, all these text messages and whatnot, that, yeah, she was only doing a lot of this shit because her ex-husband or whatever was making her do it, right? She didn't actually want to do these titty streams. She didn't want to make, vaginal yeast beers or whatever. She just wanted to stream like a normal girl playing video games and having a good old jolly time, and she was only doing this because her husband basically talked her into it. That's what everybody had thought at the time, and even myself, right? I believed her. There was no real reason to not believe her, right? She's showing these texts, crying on stream, showing this proof. She has a phone call with the dude. He's fucking screaming his head off, saying crazy things, right? But then, of course, it's just coincidental that after all this time, right, where she's supposedly been getting a divorce and leaving this guy or whatever, right, that she just has continued to do all of these same things that she was supposedly being abused into doing. And so I and several other people made tweets pretty much yesterday, right, where we were talking about this, we were giving our takes on it, right, and I ended up saying, remember though, her ex-husband was the one forcing her to do all this stuff for the finances. She was being sexualized against her will, and she didn't even want to make this kind of content to begin with. Alright, that tweet went kind of viral, I guess. I was a little surprised, but honestly, most of the response to that agreed with me, which kind of surprised me, because usually when it comes to people like Amaranth or whatever, they have this army of simp defenders that just no matter what critique you bring up, they just have some sort of fucking stupid response, right, where they have to try and make an excuse for these people or something, right? And, well, to be fair, that did happen too, and I'll talk about that and respond to some of their points in this video as well. But before I start responding to these points, I want to go ahead and highlight some of my evidence for you guys here, right? Because these people are acting like, oh, well, if you go back and watch her stream, you'll understand that yada yada yada. Well, so I did. I went back and I rewatched the stream that I've already covered. I've already made a video about. There was literally clips of it in the comments of the post that were proving what I was saying. But, you know, well, let's go ahead and see the evidence here, right? So one of the first things she says about this husband dude or whatever is, oh, you know, he's pushing for all these higher up milestones. I never really get any days off. You know, he's never gonna let me see my horses, or he's gonna kill my dogs. He's gonna ruin my career. Oh my God, right? Like, this guy just has so much control over my career at this point. He keeps forcing me to stream all these long hours and, you know, do these hot tub streams I don't want to do. Now, people keep saying like, oh, well, it's possible that, you know, he really was controlling her to do all these things, but now that she's under her own free will, she just, you know, continues to do it by her own choice. And I'll talk more about that here in a minute. But anyway, once again, let's go ahead and talk about some of the proof and some of the things, right? Yeah, so she says all that shit. And then one thing I thought was interesting too, she said, was that she would, quote unquote, rather be broke again than to continue dealing with this shit.
Even though I help you make multi-millions of dollars, you want to burn it all to the ground because you're a sure, whine about it. I don't give a f anymore. I'd rather be broke again and deal with this shit anymore.
I'm just confused because, like, when I hear, oh man, I'd rather be broke again than to do this shit, I'm tired of doing this, man. Usually, to me, that doesn't indicate, like, yeah, I like doing this, you know, I'm really all about this. In that moment, it seems more of like a statement out of frustration that's more or less designed to get you on her side, okay? I'd rather be broke again. I don't even want to do these hot tub streams and deal with this asshole ex-husband and whatnot, right? I don't even want to do any of this shit anymore. I'd rather be broke. But of course, you know, she got away from this guy and she had the opportunity to quote-unquote rather be broke. And instead of rathering be broke, she is just showing her fucking naked body off to 13-year-olds on Twitch and making vaginal yeast beers and all kinds of other weird shit, right? So, pretty interesting how that goes, too, right? And then also, too, note when she says this interesting little tidbit here.
Hunter shares another clip from Amaranth's stream and says he forced her to continue saying she was single and commit to being a hot tub streamer.
The therapist even told him that it's a form of, like, psychological abuse, and that I'm basically living in a fancy prison. And then he was changed for a bit, and then the hot tub meta arose, and he was like, oh, this is an opportunity. And then he turned into an asshole again when I agreed to commit to the grind because it was a good financial opportunity for us.
Very interesting claim. It's almost like people would hear that and they would automatically assume, right? Like, oh, this husband saw these other fucking girls on Twitch or whatever doing these hot tub streams and he knew we could make a bag. Like, she even says, oh, I only agreed to the grind because of the financial incentives, right? She didn't say, oh, I really like making this kind of content and it's fun and that's what's paying the bills. I love that shit. She literally says, he saw the hot tub meta arise, he introduced the idea to me, and I went along with it because of the money. She's not saying, oh, I like doing this, I want to keep doing it even after I'm done with this fucking jack off. She basically insinuates, if not outright states, that, like, this guy basically pushed it on her.
And I don't have to wear cleavage every day. I can wear clothes. Master has given Dobby a sock. Dobby is free.
That's another really damning clip too, where she says, oh, now I don't have to work cleavage every day. I can finally wear clothes on my stream again. Sounded like some, like, starving child who finally got a bowl of ramen. Like, oh my God, I finally get to eat lunch. Is this what everybody's been hyping up? Yeah, like, okay, you can finally wear clothes again and you don't have to work cleavage. I mean, she technically was right about that, right? She doesn't have to just work cleavage anymore because now she's just literally fully fucking naked with a sensor bar over herself. So, not too worried about cleavage anymore. Now we're just showing off literally fucking everything, right? So, and then funny enough too, like, after everyone in this stream is like taking her side and everything, and they're like asking for like an update, like, oh, what's gonna happen next? Like, is he still there? Are you basically under any sort of like real legitimate threat? What's happening here? She goes on to say that, you know, he's not there and that he's getting help. And that she had finally gained access back over her accounts, and that she was seeking emotional and legal counsel.
So as of today, though, I have access to all of my accounts and finances again. He's not here. He's getting help. and I'm seeking legal and emotional counsel.
Yeah, it really sounds like a situation somebody really wants to be in here, bro. You know, she's really painting this as if, oh, I can't wait to get back to the grind, man. I can't wait to get back to the hot tub streaming after I'm done with this. Nah, during that stream, we were boohooing about how, you know, our abusive husband is gonna kill our dogs if we don't show our titties on stream, right? But then, of course, now that she's supposedly not dealing with him anymore or whatever, right? Hey, we're all good, bro. We're all good. Let's go ahead and pop them streams out. So, some people did get mad at me and other folks for pointing this out, right? And I just want to point out, they only fall into one of two categories, and it's incredible that it filters down this well, but the only people who are disagreeing with this are A, the simp weirdos who actually spend fucking money and donate to these girls and whatnot, instead of just going and watching what they really want to watch for free online, or B, it's other women who do the same fucking thing Amaranth is doing, and they're obviously biased and trying to make excuses for themselves and like the leader of their clique, I guess, or whatever here, because that is what they think is going to make them more normal or whatever. So those are the only two people mad about what I actually said, or what anyone else who was like really curious about this said. So I want to address a few of the arguments here. Obviously, the number one here is, oh, you guys don't understand what consent is. Before, she was upset because her husband was making her do all these things, forcing her to do these long streams and work these long hours, but now she finally has the free will to determine it, right? Well, okay, if that was the case, then why is every single day, basically, she's fucking still streaming the same thing that she was doing, which is her, like, half naked, or in this case, literally naked? Why is she still pumping out OnlyFans content and fucking porn and whatnot, right? Why is she making a vaginal yeast beer? I'm sure that probably took up some of her time, right? Like, it's weird how when she was in this relationship with this abusive guy making her do all these things, she didn't want to do all this shit all day. She didn't want to work on this stuff all day. She wanted a life outside of it. But hey, now that she's on her own, man, hey, we're gonna do the same thing he had us doing, but it's my choice now. Because, you know, a lot of people who've been sex trafficked or stuff like that, right? You know, they finally get free. They finally get out of the abusive, toxic cycle. And the first thing they do, they're like, you know what? I kind of liked getting tucked up in suitcases and shipped across the world for some Saudi prince, you know? I think I want to get back into that real quick. Like, how many times have you heard that? Oh, exactly. You know, maybe one or two situations or something, like very small, you know, exceptions to the mean or whatever, but you never actually hear that. Because why? Oh, they're traumatized and it was a real situation that they didn't want to be in? Yeah, because they didn't want to do it, right? Like, if you're such an abuse victim, right, and this guy was forcing you to do all this weird shit, why would you go back to doing it once you finally got freedom? I mean, you even yourself said, right? I finally don't have to show my cleavage every day. I can finally wear clothes again and just be normal. But wait, that all went out the window after like, what, 1-2 streams, you know? Once the fucking money probably started shutting down a little bit and you realized that this is what your audience is. The other argument is, of course, the typical just fucking stupid ass argument they have. Oh, you're just jealous of these girls, man. You're just jealous because they can make all this money. They can make a fucking bag. Personally, I'm not worried about catching a bag. I've got my YouTube channels, I've got stocks, I've got fucking real estate, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing fine. I'm not sitting here worrying about no goddamn money, but just notice that in and of itself right there, you know? Like, I don't understand what the fucking whole thing is. Like, yeah, I can go make money through stocks or through YouTube or through fucking property or literally anything, man. Like, there's so many other ways to just make a living than showing your boobs to 13-year-olds on Twitch, right? But she and all these other girls continue to choose this career path. And then when they get called out on it and you say like, hey, this is fucking weird, you shouldn't be streaming this shit on Twitch, this is disturbing, go to back to fucking Pornhub or whatever, right? Then it always comes back to this. You're broke, you're jealous, you're an incel, you hate women, whatever it may be, right? I hate when women, you know, say, oh, I'm in an abusive relationship that's forcing me to do this shit, and then when they get out of it, they continue doing the exact same shit. Then the next argument was kind of weird too, because they're like, oh, well, you just don't understand trauma. You don't get how trauma works. You don't understand how it affects the brain, which is also a really interesting thing to say to me personally, because I am literally diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. I go weekly to therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. So, like, how do I not understand what trauma is like? How do I not get what that's like? I mean, I deal with it on a weekly fucking basis. Actually, I deal with it on a nightly basis when I have night terrors. And when I have, you know, fucking runaway thoughts and just random 1,000-yard stares and shit. I understand a little bit, unfortunately, about what trauma does to the brain. And that's why when I see a girl come on fucking, you know, Twitch talking about, oh, hey, my ex-husband, he has control of everything. He's gonna kill my dogs if I don't do my titty streams. And then a year later, when she's supposedly not with him anymore, she's still doing the same fucking thing. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. What's that about, bro? Maybe that's why I have something to say about it. Or realistically, the next point too. This is why I have something to say about it and why so many others do too. Why do you even care what Amaranth is doing, Optimus? It really doesn't affect you. Okay, yeah, maybe it doesn't affect me, but the fact of the matter is she's streaming on a website where 13-year-olds can sign up and use the website. And that's where she's just so happening to choose to stream this kind of shit. And where all these other girls who are streaming these kinds of things are choosing to stream this shit. They're not going to OnlyFans. They're not going to the hub, you know what I mean? They're not going to these places where this shit is already accepted and normalized and there's a market for it. They're going to the gaming website meant for teenagers and anyone playing video games, and then they're doing it there, okay? Which, let's just call it for what it is. It's fucking weird. I don't understand why these girls feel the need to, like, defend women who do this shit, when you know damn good and well they would never defend the guys who are on there meat swinging and whatnot, trying to, you know, tempt the same fucking barriers. They would never show them the same level of respect or credence, right? All it comes down to is really this, okay? I don't care if Amaranth wants to make pussy beer. I don't care if Amaranth wants to show her nipples off on the internet. I really don't. What I do care about, though, is when you're coming on here and you're making a mockery of abuse and you're making it out like the only reason you do this shit is because you have this fucking dangerous guy breathing down your neck. And then when you're out of that situation, not only do you continue it, but you ramp it up even further. Yeah, and people are gonna think you're a fucking liar, and people are gonna think that you're clout chasing. Like, what did you expect? Did you really think that was gonna go over well? Did you really think people weren't gonna have something to say about that? Did you really think people were gonna forget that stream? Like, I don't really understand how they're confused why people respond to shit like this, man. But anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. Well, just pointing out some inconsistencies, honestly, and signing out. And that's a wrap on this video, but a big shout out to my Optimus Nation supporters. You guys are the real MVPs here. Your support with just $10 a month unlocks a treasure trove of exclusive videos, constantly updated, archived live stream VODs, and early access to all new uploads. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.